Howdy do, everyone. You know who I am, ET Templar, Supreme Misfit Professional Dipshit, and we're A-logging DarkSydePhil again in hopes of getting some views. But let's see what he has to say or talk about in this one. Take it away.
Oh no, I see what people are saying. Someone just said in Kick chat, Phil, it's weird we don't make the front page of Kick anymore. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. You notice what was happening is that moderators for Kick, their actual like admins, were coming into the chat and were putting us on the front page, which would boost viewership for temporarily, and it would actually get more view numbers and things on the streams. And it looked like they were actually purposefully trying to do that to get me into the Kick partner program. If you didn't notice, it looked like they were trying to give the channel a push, get it into the partner program. and honestly, it looked like when we got into the partner program, that all ended.
So, are you literally complaining that the Kick staff and literally did you a solid and you're complaining about this? Really, dude? Ow, they got me in the program so I can make more money being an obnoxious bitch-made dipshit online.
Right? Also, didn't you notice that there were nights where views would get massively inflated on Kick for no reason, and then it would drop down to like normal levels again out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's not bots. What that is, Phil. If I'm a guessing person, that probably has to do is when you were on the front page, people were like, oh, who's this being promoted on Kick? Are they entertaining and interesting? So let's check out who this DarkSydePhil is. And they clicked on you. And they discovered after a few minutes that you were boring as fuck and that you were kind of cunty. They said, wow, this guy's not funny, he's not entertaining, and we're going to take our viewership somewhere else. And that's probably why it dropped as much as it did. And I highly doubt, Phil, that you are so important and so special to Kick that they would go and illegally boost your channel with bots. So that was probably just natural traffic from you being on the front page or whatever of being promoted on Kick.
And that also ended about the time when I quit Kino Casino.
Oh. So in your reptile brain, like, that's also why a lot of people left, because you kind of you kind of burnt the bridge. You went full scorched earth, and you said you snaked the Kino Casino and you robbed him, right? When you had your stream with Rich from ReviewTechUSA, remember when you played and did the King Snake bullshit? That was over a 2-hour stream. So that's probably why most of Kino Casino, when people were saying, oh, this guy's boring and retarded, we're going back to Kino Casino. And or anyone else who got introduced to you through Kino Casino probably is like, yeah, it was right of PPP and Andy to fuck with DSP. And they probably, took their viewerships elsewhere. But if you'll notice, DSP and grifters like this, or Jeremy Hambley, there's so many other grifters, they waste no crisis, because crisis is what they use to get sympathy donos and to kind of receive money in grifts.
You notice the funny correlations there.
And it had nothing to do with that 2-hour King Snake stream, huh? It's so you're insinuating that Kick and Kino Casino botted you, and you're
Just saying, you know?
Yeah, so no, it's not them biting you or doing you dirty. That's you shitting in your own bed, bud. That's you literally. I have the same problem with drawing viewers and watchers to my channel, because let's be honest, I'm probably boring as fuck and probably just as dented as you, Phil. But Jesus Christ, man, most of this is of your own doing. There's no grand conspiracy here. But then again, this is DarkSydePhil playing the victim, playing because why wouldn't you?
Now,
To get sympathy donos and to squeeze more support out of your dents.
I don't know what I think Kick wants to get a lot more people excited about streaming on Kick. So that's nice of them. If that's really what their intention was to try to boost my views so I could get into the partner program, people would see, oh, Phil's a success story. More people should stream on Kick now. And more power to them, really. But I'm going to be honest here. It was very bizarre that when I first started streaming my politics show, the first and second shows had massive views, and then the viewership completely disappeared for like episode 3. Okay?
Because no one wants to hear your milquetoast fucking politics, for starters. And most of the people that left were either Kino Casino adjacent or people who were introduced to you and finally came around to, wow, this guy's a boring cunt. And probably, again, took their viewership somewhere else. It's probably what it is. It's not some grand conspiracy, Phil.
It's really weird that the first couple of episodes of Smart Guys had humongous views, and those views completely disappeared after a couple of episodes.
Because you burnt the bridge with Kino Casino. Your 2-hour stream where you're King Snake bullshit. People are going to tend to leave, like fans and viewers are again tend to leave after you've burned the bridge with content creators that they like. That's... Oh my god, is this guy retarded?
Okay. Do you see the pattern that I'm making here? Do you see what I'm trying to get at here?
There's no pattern, dude.
I have no evidence of what I'm saying, but isn't it a bizarre pattern that we were getting giant inflated views when I had positive association with Kino Casino, and then as soon as I decided I'm done with them and I moved on, all of that just completely disappeared?
Because why would Kino Casino fans stick around and watch you when you're being a little bit of a retarded, boring cunt? That like, why would they want to stay on board after you torch the bridge? Like, that's... Again, Phil, you've shit the bed with a wonderful opportunity. That's what that was.
So, I'm just saying, I think put 2 and 2 together and you figure it out.
It is amazing to me how this fucking idiot, this absolute dented human being, has people that will feed him donos and support. It is wild to me that someone of that caliber, someone that is that fucking mentally stunted and that much of a, like, fucking dingus, can continuing having a fan base. I guess it's all haters and they're fucking with him with money, because I can't imagine anyone... I don't know, that's weird. But Phil, like you, the comparison, the similarity, maybe I'm boring as fuck. Maybe that's why my channel doesn't go anywhere. But for God's sakes, dude, like, at least I can admit I suck. My content is fucking ass. And when I fire up a stream, like, it's like a dead zone. Now, I admit that's probably me, because, like, even with the setup here and everything else, that I fucking suck. I'm not gonna come out here and be like, oh, it's the algorithm, it's YouTube conspiring against me. No, it's I fucking suck. I can't figure out the algorithm. I don't have niche content. I cover all kinds of shit, including your dumbass, and that's a failure on my part. But with DarkSydePhil here, it's amazing how nothing is ever his fault, and that the world is always constantly conspiring against him. But that's the trick to grifting, isn't it? That's the secret sauce. That's the secret ingredient to the sauce, isn't it? To be a grifting douchebag is to always constantly come up with conspiracies where there are none, come up with, just this level of victim mentality. And that's essentially what it is, and that's how Phil continues to get sympathy donos and sympathy bucks out of his dented fans, and it works for him. It fucking works. People bite up, and I think, like, earlier or after this, he was saying that he was receiving chargebacks on Kick, which technically isn't a possible thing. I don't know, but I think PPP and Andy were saying that that was a lie. But that's Phil. He'll lie. He'll play a victim because that's the only way he can get momentum, donations, and supports by playing the victim. And he's not the only one. Jeremy Hambley does the same thing, right? Of the quartering. That guy says he's broke, the business is going under, when he's got like millions, like probably made millions over his career of being a YouTuber, gets paid 5 to 10 grand for ad reads. He's got Rolex watches. He's got a expensive aquarium full of exotic fish. That's like $400 a fish or some bullshit. So the at the end of the day is Phil and Jeremy Hambley and grifters in general have this wonderful tactic of playing a victim, and they'll continue to do so until it doesn't work. Or maybe it will continue working because Phil just has this horde of like dipshits that will continue forking over money and their hard-earned money. And I guess, you know, again, I'm not going to pull a Stephen Campion here and be like, he's defrauding people and bitching about it. You know, if people want to waste their money on retards on the internet, that's their prerogative. Fuck, right? That's their money to do so. And no amount of screaming or points you can bring or insults is going to make people see reason. And that's the same thing with the UFO community, right? And this grifters to Wilcock. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. And that's my 2 cents on it. Maybe you guys have the same conclusion. If you do, share your opinion in the comments. See you next time.
Money. We gotta make some money.
The sky.